to teach you exactly what to do from another perspective. A brilliant speaker, and quite frankly, a wonderful human being. This is Mr. Peter Chow, ladies and gentlemen. Yes.
Okay, everyone can hear me? Okay,
Alright. Excuse me.
Okay, today is Sydney. How's everyone? Right. Okay, well, before I start, I just want to share with you a little bit about my experience with Sydney. Sydney has a very special place in my heart because 2 lifetimes away, I was a crew, flight attendant, didn't work at the crew anymore with Singapore Airlines. So my very first rookie flight is to Sydney. So I remember Sydney very well. And beautiful weather and everything. So, okay. Now what I'm going to cover today is all about, well, I forgot to acknowledge, right? The wonderful team, events team that allowed me to be here. This is the honor for me because you know why? I'm sharing stage with people who are maybe 6, 7 years back over there. And if you look at my results later, which I'm going to show you, there's nothing to shout about. But there's a lesson behind that as well. I'm going to talk about that later. Okay, the topic that I wanted to cover very much is about leverage. Because we heard about leverage so often. I'm sorry, the sound, can you turn it down a little bit for me? Thank you. So, we have heard of leverage so many times. We basically know what leverage means. But when it comes to leveraging what we have in what business, what does that mean? So I'm going to break it down into a bite-sized chunk so that you know exactly what you're getting into and the steps that you need to strategize in order to fully take advantage of the system that is available to you. Okay, 3 areas. Now the first 2 is know your numbers and MOBE Eco-System. These 2 are meant more for new consultants. The who is 6 months and below. 1 year and below. Okay, so the rest experience, right? So basically the profile of people coming over to Supercharge Summits are new consultants. And new consultants, one of the biggest problems we have is there's an overload of training. MOBE has tons of training, it's crazy. I've never seen any company that provided so much training for their consultants and their members. But we get overwhelmed and we don't know where to start. So I will give you a couple of tips so that you know how to put things into your strategy and then begin to be able to take the next step. Okay. The last thing is system automation. System automation is broken into 2 parts. One is also meant for newbies so that you understand what is mean by automation, why is it so important. And the last part, the later part, is all about something which is a super secret ninja kung fu that I'm going to share with you. Those are not meant for newbies. Okay, so take it like a proof of concept, take it like what is possible out there. Do something like that only when you begin to make money. When you're stable, then look into that. In the meantime, it is just something that is available to you, okay? Now, a little bit about myself, where I come from. I don't come from a lot, meaning I come from a very poor family. This is the government flat in Ipoh. I come from Malaysia, in a little city called Ipoh. Now I'm Singaporean. So basically, this is the government flat. It's a single bedroom unit. It's filthy. It's very small. And the interesting thing is that if you look at the top, I stay. Let me see if I can do it. This is my unit, where I grew up from. We don't stay there anymore. I moved out a long time ago. Now, the area I want to highlight to you is the roof. The roof part over here is very high. Water tanks. Okay, it's covered by the same roof. Now, this whole 26 blocks of government flat is known to be infested with drug addicts. So I and my family grew up with drug addicts. They don't bother us, that's a good thing. It's one good thing. They basically sleep at the stairs and they climb up the pole. I can't imagine how they're able to climb up because there's no way that any sane person would be able to find ways to climb up that they can. They just, go up there and have the fix. And that's where I come from. And it is filthy, and it's small, and you can't talk loud because the neighbors can hear you. Okay, the present is what I'm doing right now. That's not interesting. A little bit more interesting one is my past. I really don't like to dwell too much on my past, but I still have to tell you where I come from, right? So, my last post in a 9-to-5 job is I was a SVP, user experience and creative services. I'm also a award-winning creative director. I've done a lot of things. And one of the things is you cannot imagine that I was an encyclopedia salesman. I cannot imagine I did that. There was when I was waiting for the results. I was very, very young. I don't know what I got into. I just joined someone and it's a sales company and took me under his wings and just went on to sell. And one of the hardest things to sell is, I'm sure you know, nobody wants encyclopedia, nobody needs encyclopedia. But we sell encyclopedias. It's crazy. Okay. So right next. I'm gonna skip fast because I don't want to talk too much about me. I want to just give you value, things, tips that you can take home and start putting into your own strategy. Okay. So prior to joining MOBE, this is one of my lowest points in my life. That pushed me, or rather, when this happened, is basically I was retrenched. I was retrenched twice. The company was a very well-funded fintech company. What happened was the CEO gambled the future of the company by just putting everything into an IPO. And when that IPO failed, everyone has to go. So I was one of the first people to let go. And at that time, I was just a VP. And they figured out that they needed people because, during the transition period, they needed people who can work, who can deliver, and keep them so that the company can continue on. And they offered me a fake promotion to senior VP. So it's just on paper. It doesn't mean anything. That's why I thought, looking back, 9-to-5 job, the so-called glamorous title is nothing. So what happens is that we all got let go, and I was really retrenched. I was really fired in January 2017, and that's the lowest point in my life because the company still owed me 4 months salary. And can you imagine that I needed to serve my notice, working 4 months and no salary at all, and I struggled to find to put food on the table for my family. Do you know what it means for a man to be in that position? And I cannot share it with my wife because I don't want to worry her. And it was really bad. So at that time, when that door closes and another door opens, and what happened is that I got in the MOBE through a Facebook app, interestingly enough.
Yes.
And I joined MOBE. Okay, so I started in March 2017. Right. I hit my first 4-figure milestone in my second month, 5-figure in my third month, and I qualified for silver and titanium reimbursement for the 5th month, 5-figure, 6 months, and I started to go into doing training because I wanted to just give back what I learned, what I know, because I know that there are a lot of newcomers into MOBE. They just got stuck. It's just overwhelming, too much information, too much training, So I started doing my first elite earners webinar on the 8th, second one of the 10th one, and I first started speaking in Singapore, and today is my 11th one, a second Supercharge Summit. I'm going to Hong Kong if the events team doesn't change their mind. Okay, my result is just this. Okay, I'm not impressed by this myself. Thank you. So, but I started looking at the industry stats, and basically, most people in the online marketing business are not making money at all. And if you're looking at my income, which is about this round around here, I'm actually belong to the 0.59% group. So now what that means is that I learned to count my blessings. I learned to turn something that is not really impressive, but I can use that as a catalyst to power me on. And this is MOBE statistics. And under MOBE statistics, if you're able to make about this level or even 10,000 above, you're basically in the 12 to 3% range of all the active affiliates. Okay, so the lesson here is this: celebrate all your small wins. Whatever you start to make, document that, keep that with you, because you can use to build a story of the journey. And people want to get to know you. And you will hear a lot of other leaders who come and talk to you about telling a story, about building on branding. You need all this information. Because if you don't keep track, you will not be able to build a story of the journey. Okay, this is important. Because it all adds up. Right? Anybody knows what's the 2012 degrees concept? Okay, 211 degrees is when water boils. Now, as you know, water boils, boiling water are useful for a lot of things. But there's a next gap when what happens is that the water boils at 212, 1 extra degree. What happens is that it turns into steam. And when it turns into steam, it is powerful enough to drive the steam engine, the locomotive. From boiling water level to a steam level that can do tremendous amount of things, very powerful. This is it. All we need to do is just focus on the 1 extra degree of effort, 1 extra step, the extra mile that we are willing to take on to help another better being. Okay. So this is what drives me, my 5-year-old. That song that we played is from Zootopia, and it says, try everything. So I have a different concept. A lot of leaders will tell you, choose one traffic method, do that one, forget about everything else. My perspective is totally different. You are not able to choose one if you don't know what are the pros and cons and the characteristics of the rest of the other tracking methods, right? So there's something, to me, you should try. Give it a go. Because you may just find that something works better for you than Facebook ads. By the way, this is the MOBE motto that on the 3rd day, someone else, Ching and Margaret, is going to do the session, and they're going to tell you a little bit more about MOBE mottos and why it is important. Why this is one of the things that also drives me, because everything I'm building is basically building a legacy for my son. It's for my family. This little bit is for myself. It doesn't need to be this model because I change my mind often. All right, so there are 3 secrets to leverage according to Peter Chow, and they are not basically secrets, right? It's open secrets. So it's all about systemizing a business. So what does it mean by systemizing a business? Let's look into that in detail. The first thing you got to understand is the numbers, because numbers represent the blueprint to your goals. If you don't have a number, one of the reasons why in the first few steps when you're doing the 21 steps is to know your goal. If you don't know your goal, you cannot achieve that. Okay, so know your numbers. Now, how it adds up with this? As you know, silver, every silver cell we get 1,250. Every gold we get 2,005. But most of the time, when someone upgrades, when they come into HPS, for instance, Home Business Summit, and when they upgrade or when they buy diamond, they have to purchase platinum, titanium, gold, and silver. So what that means is that you're not getting 10,000, you're getting 20,050. Okay, so it all adds up. All right, so work towards that. This is what the base calculation we need to look at. Now, anybody has $1 million per year goal?
Everyone.
Anybody at the back of the camp? I'm helping the newbies. Okay. Crazy, right? $1 million, nobody thinks that you can do, right? But good for you who has this goal, because I'm not going to look at this. I'm going to look at this. skipping on 50,000, right? It's a bit more down to earth, right? Or let me just go back. 100K. When we attend our HBS and our IMF, the coach at the event who leads the event, they normally will suggest the 100K per year, which is very achievable by the way. So we can use this. Now, if you have a million, all we need to do is just add 1 0 and back. So 100K, what does that mean? If you're diamond, focus on diamond. If you are platinum, focus on platinum. Okay, if you're silver, focus on silver. 80 silver sales per year. If you're diamond, you only need 5 diamond sales, and you hit 100K per year. Okay, break it down in such a way that you are able to digest the numbers. So break it further down into a month figure is only 8,333, and you only need 1 diamond sale every 2 months. Okay, for those silver, it's only 7 silver sales per month. That makes it easier for you to build your strategy and know what target you want to hit. Per week, I normally don't work at per week, but if per week works for you, use the number here. I normally just look at per month, so I can plan all my activities for that month. Okay, a little bit easier to achieve is the $50,000 per year. It's only 2.5 diamond per year, and it doesn't even need to be HBS. But later on, I will cover with you why the live events is so powerful. 5 platinum sales a year, 11 titanium, 40 silver sales. Okay, let's break that down per month. 1 diamond every 4 months. Okay, 1 platinum every 2 months. 1 titanium every 8 months. 3.5 silver sales every month. Now, isn't that more achievable? Right? Focus on that number. Pick your activities, the money-making activities, to achieve this. For silver, titanium, platinum, diamond. Okay. So industrial statistics again. Let us just remind. If you are making 1,000 to 5,000 a month, you are already top the top 2%. You see, but most people, when they join a company and they want to build an online business, they take the training, but they don't have the necessary action in order to start building a business. So a lot of them, 70.1% with 0 income. A lot of them with 0 income. Okay? There's a lot of help that is given by the company in MOBE that can help you move up each step. Okay, just focus on 5,000 a month, which is very realistic for a side income, especially for those who still have jobs, or who are still running their own business. You need to build 2 things. You cannot just let go of something that is feeding you, a 9-to-5 job that's giving you monthly income on a monthly basis. You need to build more business slowly, so that when the income starts picking up, you can scale this up to a point you can fire your boss, so to speak. Okay, now I don't like the word fire your boss because I love my job when I was doing 9-to-5. I really love my job. I disagree with management, but I still love my job. Okay, so I don't believe in firing a boss. It's just that it depends on. We only have 24 hours a day. The time that we spend building something, which one is worth it? Okay, I have a pretty good pay while I was doing my 9-to-5 job, but no way in the world that I'm going to be able to provide a real legacy for my son while being in that job. There's no way. I realize that. It's just that it is so comfortable. When I was fired, I was still looking for another job because it's so easy for me. I'm so good at what I do. I would prefer to, at that time, I would prefer to find another thing similar that pays me the same amount of money that I can just lock myself in and I don't need to do much. That's ideal, but that's not going to give me freedom. Okay, so that's the reason why I'm glad that I was fired. It turned into a blessing in disguise. Okay, so the question is this. This is what I do. I plot out my IMF events. I plot out my home business summit events, and then I basically plan all my Facebook ads activities in order to bring registration before I left. Because there's only a small percentage, maybe about 16 to 20% will register for the HBS. And understand that HBS is where the magic happens, because it is where Ken and Chris and whoever runs the HBS is going to do the highest level of conversion. Okay, you heard of so many people all of a sudden, like 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, 6 months, making so much money. It's because of the conversion of people going to an HBS event and they're converting. They were buying into diamond, mentorship, titanium, platinum, like that. Okay, the magic happens in HBS. So your focus should be, number one, bring people to IMAP. Okay, and let the speaker convert them to buy the ticket to HBS, and everything else will be taken care of by the event sales team. That's leverage. Okay, I'm going to go into that a bit more. Okay, the next item I want to talk about leverage is MOBE Eco-System. What does that mean? Right before the 7-figure nest egg is a tongue twister. That 21-step program. Before that, there was another one. I can't remember. It could be turnkey business system. Now, the turnkey business system is exactly what it says. Okay, MOBE Eco-System is basically everything is already due for us. What we are doing is that we're taking that. It's pretty much like a franchise. If you remember what you learned during 21 steps, it's pretty much like a franchise. You just plug in and let everything else taken care of by MOBE. Okay, this is something that a lot of people cannot wrap their heads around. How come we have so many products? Why once in a while we hear people talk about 21 steps? Why once in a while we hear people talk about MTTV? And then why in the world sometimes people talk about laptop lifestyle, Wi-Fi millionaire, and all that stuff, right? The base program, this is the foundation understanding. The base program is 21 steps. 21 steps is what each one of us went through with a coach, and that's the basic foundation. And everything over here, there's actually more. I just picked up a few. These are the candy wrappers. Imagine 21 steps is the candy. Everything else is a candy wrapper, so that we are able to market that to our avatar, to our targeted client. Because if I am retiring, I cannot be talking to a millennial and market to a millennial using the rookie profit system. But it works best for millennial, like Steven's brand suit. Right? If for Jill is basically previously it was the ultimate retirement. Now it turns into the 7-figure. Okay, and it's basically all about retirement, nesting. Okay, so it's different flavors of the same thing that allows us to take advantage of whom we want to target, the message they want to get out. Alright? So it is basically all, if you remember Matrix, who watched Matrix? Is it your time?
Yeah.
Red pill, blue pill. Now we have yellow pill, green pill, whatever pill, right? If you eat it, it all leads to the same thing, which is just the MOBE Eco-System. And then the rest of the stuff will be taken care of by the team. Okay, the next thing I want to cover is, besides the 21 steps, which is one of the major products. Now, there's only 2 products in MOBE that we need to focus on, which is the live events. This one. And the other one is the MTTV 21 steps. Okay? So I've covered the 21 steps. Now it's the live events. And live events is important because a lot of people who joined MOBE came through live events. I myself came through live events through the Facebook ads. A lot of my active downlines did the same thing. Okay? So what happens is this. Facebook ads is the best platform in terms of promoting the live events because of the laser focused targeting that is unavailable anywhere else. You cannot get things like, if you live within a vicinity of 35 square miles, this dot, of this location, you send all your ads to this group of people who also happens to like Robert Kiyosaki and whatever the targeting access that was covered by the right? So Facebook ads allows you to do that, and Facebook ads allows you to scale. Once you get that formulation right and you're getting results, it's very easy for you to scale up the results. So basically, you want fast results. This is it. Facebook marketing workshop. Okay, but the problem with that is that you will also begin to learn about the pitfalls of one wrong step, you get banned. Okay, it's not fun to get banned. And the other thing is that you also find that everybody else is doing the same thing, and the cost of the ads is getting higher and higher. Okay, so what can you do? This is a little bit detailed explanation or diagram of what happens, so that once I explain this, you will be able to understand which part you need to build and which part you hands off, because you don't need to do everything, right? So you always start out with Facebook ads. Now it doesn't need to be Facebook ads. It can also be a direct one-on-one relationship. It can also be a Bing ads, a Google ads, or a solo ads. Anything, as long as it's traffic channel, the traffic channel belongs here. The next step is where you want people to go to once they see your ad. Landing page. Okay, the landing page is also known as the squeeze page. It's also known as a website. Some people call it a website. It's basically a website. A landing page is also known as a capture page. Okay, they're all the same thing. It's technicality. So what you need here is usually two, or sometimes it's only one, which is the first opt-in page where you pop up and people and you exchange value in terms of you offer something that they want, and they give you the name and the email address. Okay, it's an exchange of value. And sometimes you use a thank you page because, especially if you're doing Facebook ads, you need that to do tracking. And that tracking is powerful because you can also use retargeting once Facebook Pixel is able to optimize and start to collect data based on the thank you page. But if you're just doing Bing ads, Google ads, solo ads, you actually don't need this. Okay, just group them as one as landing page. That's good enough. And the next thing is what you need to build is the autoresponder. Okay, autoresponder is where you capture the registration so that you are able to send them an email for welcome, reminder, offers, value, whatever it is to keep them interested in whatever you have to offer. Okay, so this is the email series. Now also know that the moment they get into the MOBE system, like this whole set over here, is the MOBE ecosystem. This is the bit that you don't need to touch. This is the bit that is already provided for as a turnkey business system. And this 1, 2, 3, I call it the Trinity of services, which is the system that we need to learn how to build. Okay, this is important because without one, well, I was about to say if you can't run without one, but I actually have a solution to that. It's an advanced strategy. So basically, you need to learn to build this tree. Okay. So promoting IM Freedom Workshop with Facebook ads usually how it happens is this: you start off with an ad. Okay, in any form, it can be a single image ad, it can be a carousel ad, it can be a full page canvas ad. Then we point them to a landing page. Within the landing page, what they do is they register for the free event, for the ticket, and they attend the live workshop. And the live workshop, they will be sold the Home Business Summit. And like I say, Home Business Summit has the highest percentage of success when it comes to upgrades, diamond, platinum, silver. And live events also include Supercharge Summit, and they also include all these masterminds. Because live events is powerful in the sense that when we have people like Chris appear and are able to explain the value of what MOBE has to offer when it comes to building a business. There's no better way to do conversion than at a live events like this. Okay, this is a sample of IMF funnel, a pro version, which is probably what you will get if you are in a mentorship program. This is a thank you page. This is the opt-in page. And this is an alternative, okay? I'm very good at building this sort of thing, so I build my own. Basically, I don't want to use what is given to every consultant, because otherwise I would be, I'm not differentiating myself because I'm using the same thing, so I prefer to build my own. And this is the form that, if you go into your back office, there is something that is called the MOBE form generator, where you can use that to customize and bring that code into your page. And this form is exactly the same form as the IMF registration page from MOBE, okay? But it's silly to do that. I'm just showing you so that I can tell you that don't do it, okay? Because you have to know technical stuff of CSS. Otherwise, if you just customize at MOBE site and you bring that code in, it's going to look ugly. The experience is not that good, so don't do it. Plus, if you're going to do this, let me tell you what you can do. This. Put a button and redirect them to the actual event. The form is the same form anyway. Right? Isn't it simpler? Just bring them over here, let them register themselves. Done. Right? Simpler, right? So what's the mess with CSS? Okay, the next thing I want to cover is self-awareness, and this is one of the most important things that I think is neglected, because, you know, it's all about identifying your area of genius. It's all about identifying what you're good at. It's all about knowing what's your passion. It's not just when someone tells you that Facebook is the way to go, YouTube is the way to go, Bing Ads is the way to go, or Solar Ads is the way to go. It's not just as simple as that, because if you look at Icon is an MLM queen, network marketing queen. Her strength is connecting with people. Her strength is touching another person and face-to-face communication. And she's making a lot of money, but with zero ad spend, and that's super powerful. Can you imagine? So zero ad spend, okay? And she can do that, right? But if you ask her, or if you ask me to just focus on warm market, I will crash like crazy. I can't. So I can't. So let's look at Alex. Alex is visible traffic. Okay, this is one of the simplest strategy that you can start off with, but it's only available for Platinum Diamond. But visible traffic is a very simple strategy. All you need to know is learn how to bring the buyers and connect with them and support them. Right? So basically you have options. It's not just one thing that you can do. You basically do have options. But you can choose a few. You don't have to try everything, you know. So choose a few and try it out. Like for instance, one of the simplest thing to do to start a promotion is Solar Ads. A lot of people say Solar Ads doesn't work. Team is making $16 million. You tell team it doesn't work. It just means that I haven't cracked it, right? But it may be that one of you who's able to crack it, and you're going to make 16 million, maybe not 16 million, 1 million. It's good enough, right? Okay, so follow-up king, Martin. Facebook ads, everybody knows Steven Bransfield. Carolina is YouTube, she's big on YouTube. Right? She doesn't spend a lot of money on Facebook ads. Basically, the thing is, be aware of where you're good at, what's your passion, and double down on that, capitalize on that. Okay? Then, once you're able to start making money, then you can start trying other things and build your portfolio of traffic. Okay, visible traffic, I mentioned this before. It's only available Platinum Diamond. It's a very powerful strategy because
because what it means that you have a steady inflow of buyers. You don't even have to worry about whether they convert or not. In the sense that when we do Facebook ads, we're basically buying clicks, we're buying conversion for them to register, and then when we need to make sure that they show up, and then we need to also make sure that they not only show up but purchase the ticket for HBS. And HBS is so many levels, right? And HBS they have to upgrade. Okay. So over here you just get confirmed buyers, like what Chris covered this morning. Some will refund, doesn't matter. But the overall thing is that I don't know whether you remember there's a training that's done by Justin Glover, and he mentioned about the 3 pillars of the marketing strategy. The 3 pillars are a combination of visible traffic, Facebook ads, and solo ads. Okay, I agree with that because you don't just focus on one thing, because you need time to learn about Facebook ads. And Facebook ads is not something so simple that you can just jump in, because I did that. First week I was suspended. It's no joke. They even suspended my page, and no amount of appealing works because they just give me that standard read the app manual, you know. So that's Facebook, right? Facebook is big brother. So what happens is that, but that's the silver lining to that. I was so lucky. I did Hong Kong, 2 registration. I spent about $80, and I was very quickly in the second day of whatever, I was already closed down by Facebook. I didn't know what I was doing. I thought I knew what I was doing. So I was suspended, right? Closed. And one person showed up at the IMF. That person bought a ticket to HBS, and that person went to silver. And later on, she went upgrade to titanium. So it's a very good ROI. But you don't always get things like that. But still, it's a good strategy because the success. I don't know whether Chan is going to tell about strategy or not, because Chan is also using this strategy very successfully, making a lot of money. Okay, so do practical. What's romantic is that when people sell you, I made $60,000 in my first 2 months. I made 3.6 million in my first 230 days. That's romantic. But is it practical for all of us? It's not. So be aware of what you're good at. Then double down on that. Learn whatever you need to learn. Because like the previous slide, right? There's no shortage of leaders that you can learn from. If you're good at warm, go and find people like her who's doing it. Jill is doing warm. Jill is doing Facebook ads, but she's not touching live events, and she's only doing MTTVs, 21 steps. Right? There's many ways that you can make money with Facebook. Okay, so you will also learn that as an entrepreneur, you will fail a lot, and if you ask me, I would prefer to fail fast so that I can pick myself up and get through all the failures so that I can get to my success faster. So expect failure, because failure is a precursor to your success, okay? It's a good thing. So the last item, well, it's not the last, but the third item I want to talk about is system automation, and why it's important for you to leverage on system automation. Okay, if you remember this chart, I'm removing the part where the MOBE Eco-System is, because that's the system that you don't need to build. It's done for you. We are just plugging in. So I'm looking at these 3 items, right? Look at it as everything that is MOBE provided, including the 3 things that we are going to build as steering wheel, the dashboard console, and the gearbox that we are building. There are 3 things that we need to build. Once you build that 3 things, plug into the whole thing, and you get a full vehicle. And this is MOBE vehicle, and this is where we will take you from point A to point B. Okay, so we're targeting on this 3. Now, going a little bit deeper into what platforms or what software or what tools we need to use in order to build this. Facebook ads is very simple. There's only one platform, right? It's Facebook ads. Now, this can also be different channels. If this is a YouTube X, then it becomes YouTube. Okay. Opt-in page, thank you page, these are landing pages. Landing pages normally we only use these two items: lead pages or funnels. Okay, the top two. There are other options available, but we normally only consider these top two. And in fact, the funnel that you're going to get from MOBE, including the IMF funnels that is provided to you in a mentorship, are all on ClickFunnels. Okay, ClickFunnels is number one today. All right, so we only need this. Consider to use this too. When it comes to autoresponder, we have GetResponse, we have Aweber, we have MailChimp. Okay, there are many other options, but you can use one of these. Is good enough for the start. I started training with Aweber, but I personally don't like Aweber because for the life of me, I cannot master the techniques of segmentation, grouping, and tagging. I'm on MailChimp now. I'm slowly migrating over to MailChimp, and MailChimp is a lot easier in terms of doing grouping and tagging, so that I can easily pull people out and do focused communication, human communication with them. So what else do we have? Twilio. Twilio is a known platform for texting. If you want to build a texting platform into your system, because you need to increase the chance of people showing up in an IMF, that's where you need to text them, remind them, hey, your registered session of the I'm Freedom Workshop is going to happen tomorrow, and these are the details. Don't forget to come, and things like that. Zapier is a platform that's an interesting platform where you have a lot of these platforms, and sometimes they don't talk to each other. Zapier will make sure that they talk to each other so they can pull data from one platform and insert that into another platform. Okay, it will be more apparent once I show you my examples later. And this tool, you don't have to worry if you're beginning. It's just an advanced available tool for you. This little octopus is Chatbot. Okay, it's up and coming technology, something that we should be looking at. Don't have to. Okay, a little bit deeper into Zapier. This is an example where I'm able I'm capturing registration into my Chatbot. Okay, I'm using Chatbot. Now, Chatbot directly doesn't communicate with these two platforms, which is Google Sheet and MailChimp Autoresponder. So I use this. The moment someone comes into my Chatbot, it is able to pull the data and put it into my spreadsheet. Okay, and from spreadsheet, it is able also to move the data into my autoresponder. So that's how powerful it is. That's why it's automation. That's why it's once you know how that works, you build everything one time, it will just work. That's why it's called leverage. That's why it's called automation. And you can tell that I'm a geek, right? So Google Sheets. Google Sheets is important. This is where I capture all my information. This is a little bit advanced. The thing is, when we first started this time, we don't worry about tracking our registration per se. We only need to worry about having enough registration to go into IMF event and let MOBE handles everything. Okay, it's just worry free. But the reality is that the system is not perfect, and you will find that once you do tracking like that, I actually know who registers into my funnel. And from this, I will do a manual registration into the IMF events using the MOBE website. Okay. Once I did that, I will track my back office. And from there, I will know who shows up and tag underneath and who gets missing. Sometimes registration gets missing. It's just part of the system is IT. IT is not perfect. Okay. If you don't track this, for instance, you will have 100 registrations for an IMF event. 10 of them didn't show up in the back office. If you don't do tracking, you will never know that these 10 did not show up. Okay. This time, once I check with the back office may come back to me and tell me that 5 are attached with another sponsor because maybe 3 months before they registered in a similar event that didn't turn up whatever reason, already attached to the response. Okay, but what about the other 5? That 5, what I need to do is always to chase support, so the support can double check, and they normally comes back with 2 answers. Yes, they are yours. They will tag to you. Then they put it into my back office, and then they will also tell me that no, this 2% or this 3% doesn't exist in our system. You may need to have to go and re-register them again. So it tells me that somewhere along the line, these 3 persons, I need to re-register them again. Okay, this is important because of the 5 that is not in your system, let's say 2 of them goes diamond, there's $40,000 at stake. So you tell me, is it worth doing this? Right? Okay, so this is a brand new MOBE event registration, which is in beta right now. This is very, very good in the sense that it is a super efficient new method to do either single or bulk registration. This is very good. But unfortunately, right now it's in beta. It's only available for diamond. So slowly, once it is settled, I'm sure Matt will roll out to the rest of the levels, masterminds. Okay. But know that this is available to you. It's accessible over here in the last item menu. You drop down, you will have more event registration, event registration, and you will see this, and we will make your registration process into each city a breeze. It's really a good thing. The next thing, basically, I want to show you is autoresponder. Okay, it depends on which platform you use. They basically build your mailing list. I'm sure you've heard of the phrase that says that the fortune is in the list. Nowadays, it's not so true if you ask me, because nobody opens the email anymore. And a lot of time, our emails goes in the spam folder. And you can track, the percentage of people who opens and percentage of people who click through. That means effective communication is not really that effective. So I don't rely on mailing lists anymore. I don't rely on email marketing that much anymore, because it's really not that effective. All right. So this is my personalized email, custom email that I send to people. Messenger chatbot. This is what's available. This is what I'm using, but it's advanced. If you notice, if you remember what Edric has shown us as we are creating our campaign, most of us are using conversion as a campaign. There is leads, there is traffic, there is website that is available to you when you create a campaign. But basically, nothing looks better than conversion. But personally, I found messages works better than conversion. Okay, so what happens is that you can leverage Facebook Messenger as a platform of communication or touch point, rather than leaving it to an email platform. Okay, this is available to you as messages. Okay, anybody want to see my execution? Okay, cool. So here's what I do. This is a flow one. I have several flows. The first thing is, as you know, the standard thing to do, Facebook ads, which I integrate with a mess. Now, the way to do messages is that when you create your campaigns using messages as the objective, it allows you to it basically opens up Facebook Messenger as a platform for you to communicate. Meaning, instead of they clicking on a button to go to a landing page, they click on a button to open up Messenger to start the communication process with you. Okay, and this is powerful because why we are doing Twitter, the Twilio thing, why we are doing the texting thing is because we want that relationship, and this is direct access to the relationship. Okay, so there's a way to build that. They call JSON, JSON. There's a piece of script. Once you build the sequence, you put it into the Facebook ad, and it will just work. So I can point them from there. I can point them to the landing page as per usual. The moment they go to the landing page, they register. It goes into my autoresponder. Okay, or I can do I can bypass this. No, not bypassing this, but rather than using the way that I'm integrating Facebook ads, Facebook Messenger, I'm actually going straight into the third-party chatbot. So I'm bypassing a lot of things and going into chatbot. Okay, I'm using a chatbot basically as a landing page. And if and when they need more information, because as you got to remember that chatbot has limitation of text, number of words that you can talk to people. You imagine the number of words that you can put in a sales form, sales letter, right? Let's say 1,000. You cannot be putting the same thing in a first message when you start texting other people. Okay, so you got to control that. The first message is usually about 150 characters, which is very, very limited. But that's the rule that Facebook has put in place in order to protect the user base. Okay, it's all about the experience. The moment we abuse the experience, Facebook is going to suspend us, so be careful with that. But it's still easy. To me, you ask me, it's still easier to use. Okay, then thank you page. From thank you page, then what I can do is, what I did is, I offer them an additional page, an additional method for them to download the digital ticket. And this is not something you need to do, but to me, it's an extra touch point. People who bother to download the ticket, it means that they are really, really interested in attending. Otherwise, they won't even bother to download the ticket. It's just something that I built in order to further filter them, along the process. Then they come to the admin event. And this is how it looks like. Okay, Facebook ads. Facebook ads. Then I go to my landing page. From landing page, I'm using the registration bot, meaning I'm using a chatbot to handle registration. I'm not even using this to handle registration anymore. Okay, this is something different that I'm doing as opposed to other people. Then from here on, they go to the thank you page. From thank you page, they get a way to download the digital ticket or any extra bonus that I want to give them. Okay, so this is where they go to download the ticket. So this is the chatbot level. This is the chatbot level. And from here, I'm using Zapier to pull the data from chatbot into my Google spreadsheet. And I've already mentioned why is it important to use Google spreadsheet. It's worth the effort. Then from here, I'm also using the Zapier integration to pull the data into my autoresponder so that I am still building my mailing list. I am still sending a welcome email to them. And whenever I need to communicate with them, I can still send them an email. So I'm not bypassing autoresponder yet in this funnel, okay? Then what happens is that I'm going to go to my back office. Remember the top registration, the event registration page. This is where I use all this data and register it to the admin event. Okay? Now, flow. Second, let's take a look at this. Okay? Compare to this. This is my new flow right now. For Facebook ads, I just push them to the registration using the chatbot. Now, again, this is technical. This is a bit advanced. Just know that this is possible. Because right now, I'm bypassing the landing page altogether. I'm doing registration directly from my chatbot. If they need more information, there will be a group of people who never register for anything, but they want a lot of information. They want to know what is it all about, who is running it, where is it. They need information before they start registration. So I'll find them to this landing page. So I have a single landing page. Okay, so the rest are the same. And this is how it looks like. Right, so the point is this: automation allows us to simplify the process. And not only that, it provides us a leverage of doing the same thing in a more efficient way, cutting off a lot of unnecessary steps. And this is my funnel. Review funnel. By the way, I only do mobile apps on Facebook. I don't do desktop because my experience is that desktop is so for me it's only 20% and 80% is mobile. So I only focus on doing ads on mobile. And the percentage of growth on mobile is way higher than desktop. And desktop is actually declining. So I'm not even going to bother desktop. So I built something which is only meant for mobile. Okay, and this is how it looks like as a messenger communication platform where I engage with each person who is interested to register for the IM promotion. Okay, so it's basically handled everything. All the information they require for the event. I'll ask them for the, I already have the name, by the way. I'm going to ask them for the email. I ask them for the contact number and ask them to select the date and the time. So once everything is done, it captures into my chatbot. Okay, so these are the successful notifications that I get on the front, on the homepage. Within the application itself, I also get registration, the messenger itself. I also get a notification on email. So it's up to you at which level you want to get notified as someone registers. I can do tagging in such a way like this. The moment someone click interested, go into information about the event, you get this tag. The moment he gives me or she gives me the email address, I can also tag them. The moment that person selects one city, I also can tag that. So I have a lot of information about one single person. And I can easily pull that data and do a broadcast very fast from within my ManyChat platform. And I do a broadcast of reminder and post-event communication. So it's very fast. In fact, I don't even need to use my autoresponder in terms of support, in terms of reminders, in terms of after-event communication. Okay. So this is a sample reminder that I sent as a broadcast. And business manager. So basically on mobile base, I don't know whether you realize this or not, there are a lot of applications out there that allows us to manage our business. Okay. For one, Facebook has these two little applications. One is Pages, one is Ads. Okay, the Ads is basically accessing your business manager profile, your account, and it will show you all the ads that you have running. You can even build ads from here. All the ads that you can running, and you can monitor it wherever you are. You can see which one is working, which one is not working, because we need to track them. Those which are not working, we need to turn that off. Those which are working, we need to scale it up. So you are not subjected to availability of a space when you need to open your desktop or your laptop. So with mobile, you can do so. Okay. Now this one is basically allows you to track, to not only to track your communications, the ongoing communications with people who are talking to you on Messenger, but allows you to also manage your page, your business page. And from that, what I mean is that you can create posts, you can boost posts, you can promote posts. So there are a lot of things you can do. Okay, this is the way you work here. This has offers. This is a publisher. It basically logs into your has offers, and it's the quickest way for you to check at any time how much you have made. Rather than you have to open up a browser, you have to log in, and the process of logging in every time you need to check your commission is tedious. So this is a fast access. Now wallet is basically connecting to your wallet, your e-wallet, and it tells you how much you have received, how much you have transferred out. And once the money is in your e-wallet, you can also make transfer to your bank account from within this app itself. Okay, so the rest is just basically currency conversion. This time buddy is good because a lot of trainings, elite webinars training are conducted at US time, Central Time, and I need to make sure that I'm spot on in terms of timing so that I attend the training. So this is good for me. And the rest is just basically autoresponder. And this Text Plus is one platform that I'm using for texting purposes. And Twitter is one platform. Text Plus is another platform. I don't use Text Plus anymore because it allows me to create a US number so that I can start texting to a US problem is that the moment I send the same message to more than a few people, they will suspend me. So I get stuck. I cannot use it. So the other platform that I'm using, if I'm ever going to use texting platform, is MessageBird. MessageBird. MessageBird is a very good texting platform that you can send to globally. Okay, it's a paid app, but it's a good app. But now I'm not even going to use MessageBird. It's simply because I'm on ManyChat. ManyChat is a chatbot platform that allows me to just communicate with my list, because it basically builds my list. It builds my list. It allows me to text them via Messenger. That's basically taking care of two of the platforms on there. You have to need to pay for. Okay, so interesting exchanges is that this one, I'm doing an ad for Bangkok, and I specifically say that I want to show to people who speak English, because there's a language, right? So I put English there, right? But somehow it is still reaching a lot of people with the name which is not in English. So obviously, I don't know why, that is still reaching people who are not in English, and they still communicate with me in their native language. This happens here, this happens in Vietnam, and this happens in Philippines. Okay, it's very weird. But I know how to speak this because I have Google Translate. Google is my best friend. So this person, let me see. This person is interesting. He's basically drunk, and he immediately so. And just say sorry. Just useless exchange. Doesn't mean anything. And the last one is this person is unable to decide what she wants to do. She feels a little bit upset for whatever reason, I don't know. So she unsubscribed. The moment she unsubscribed, she resubscribed again. So I really don't know what she wanted. I just leave her. So one of the things is that the normal traditional sales funnel that we are taught, you don't get exposure to such things. With Facebook messaging, you actually do get this. So you just need to learn to manage that. Okay, because all these messages will come directly to your use of Messenger. Okay. So why am I doing something different? Why am I using the chatbot? Why am I doing the automation? I think it's very simple. MOBE is growing very fast, especially last year. This year they're going to double this year, right? So imagine more and more people are going to the platform. Imagine everybody takes, half of us takes the mentorship. Imagine everybody shares the funnel. Everybody's going to do the same thing. Right? That's the reason why Andrew was sharing with us the thing that he does differently, just to stand out, because you need to stand out. Otherwise, I have comments that how come your ads is the same as everyone else's, from engagement and selective. So it's all about standing out. It's all about making yourself different, so that you're not part of the noise. You stand right out. And Facebook ads basically is the next big thing. Some experts say that this is going to be the marketing platform in about 3 to 5 years. And Facebook is basically heavily is promoting this as a platform for the advertising revenue. So let's say something about this platform. Okay. So this is what I just said. It's extending the power of the Messenger platform. They're opening the Messenger platform as an advertising avenue. All right. So Chatbot allows us to build a user experience that is unavailable from any other channel. Because using Facebook ads by itself, you're not able to do things like this. You're not able to do things like this. I can just swipe and select my countries. I have two funnels. One is a multi-city funnel. That means one chatbot. I basically manage whoever wants to come in and select their own cities. So I don't have to do individual cities. And I also have a dedicated product sequence under the chatbot that only does one single city. Okay, so I'm just testing both out. And what I'm saying is that basically it's about giving the user a different user experience. something different to play with, and so that they are not. You see, what they are exposed to day in and day out is the ads, and they all look the same. And they click on the ad, they go into a landing page, and they all look the same. And they're being given a pop-up image form to fill up, and they're all the same, right? So this is a different user experience that they can play with. It's all about standing out. And the messaging platform allows us to give value to people, to give them instant gratification. It is a touch point that is not available anywhere else in the sense that it provides a very rich user experience. And why I'm giving the digital ticket, is not something that is absolutely required or necessary for them to attend, but it is a sense of instant gratification that when I register for something, I get something. For instance, if you do lead magnet or give away an ebook, when I register for an ebook, it makes sense for me to immediately get an ebook. It doesn't make sense for me to wait a whole long time until you send me the ebook. Immediate instant gratification is what works for most people. Okay, and messaging platform is basically all about relationship marketing. It's all about respect marketing and automation. One of the most important things is that it forces us as a marketer to not spam, to have a little bit more respect to the people that we talk to and we communicate to and to advertise to. It gives us a level of responsibility that is unavailable in any other platform. You know, the reason why MOBE is being tagged by Facebook as being in the questionable business category is because a lot of marketers did something fishy. And when people see something that MOBE advertising campaign comes on, they complain that it is something fishy. So so Facebook basically just tag everything under the fishy business system. Okay, so this basically forces us to reconsider what we want to say, how we are going to say it, how do we engage with them, what type of respect we need to give the other person in order for us to build a relationship. It's all about a relationship. So to me, if you ask me, this is a very good development in the space. Okay, and one of the things that I want to add on to what Patrick says about giving value, about the relationship, about it's not about just sell. Because when we first started, we were so excited about our business, right? And we just want to share on our Facebook. And we paste our raw affiliate link on Facebook. And you will soon find out that raw affiliate links are not acceptable by Facebook. They are not acceptable by autoresponders. You will quickly find that the autoresponder will tag your email as spam. There's a spam score. So basically, how do we differentiate ourselves? How do we build a brand name for ourselves? How do we stand apart? It's all about giving. Now, this book is Jab, right? I hope Jab is of giving. Just this guy make a difference in my life because when I first started, I didn't know too much about how to do this properly, and I just sell. My email is autoresponder emails that I do. I basically grab from MOBE, and all of them are very salesy, and it doesn't work. It doesn't work for me. It's probably working for me, otherwise it would be doing the same thing, right? It just doesn't work for me. For coming to a year, I've been doing it about 6-7 months. I'm doing the same thing. That channel of communication totally doesn't work for me. My open rate and my click-through rate is very low. The moment I start changing my strategy based on what I read here, everything changes. My communication, the way I write my email is very personalized, and I don't sell anymore. And all of a sudden, my click-through rate and my open rate jumped up. So consider that. The basic thing is that don't sell. We have great salesperson at the back. We have phone sales team who's doing the sale for you. All you're doing is share your story, That's what Jill does. That's what Fiza Senko does. Okay, they just share the story. Fiza said, Fiza is amazing because he's another person who doesn't spend a single time on Facebook ads and he's making a lot of money just by sharing his experience on Facebook. Okay. So right hook is basically earning the right to make a request. It's not even to sell. Okay, to ask. So that basically changes my direction in how I handle my business. And from a position where I was always stressed out, I'm not meeting the numbers, to a position of freedom that I don't have to worry because all I'm concentrating and focusing on is how do I give value so that that person will walk away a better person, or they're getting something of value that can help them build a business, take the next step. That's all I focus on. Okay, so industry statistics says that messaging platform is way more effective than the email marketing platform. And I'm using ManyChat. There are many different applications on that, solutions on that. I'm using ManyChat. And what it does for me is that it takes over the function of an autoresponder because I'm collecting my mailing, so-called mailing list here. Okay. And it takes over the messaging platform because I can monitor and I can constantly manage the conversation that is happening. Mostly it's automatic, but there are certain times that they ask questions that are really weird that I need to step in and just provide an answer. And it allows me to do different sequences based on what I need to do. And it allows me to collect information, customized information from the user, including tagging, specific tagging, whatever I need to do. Right? As you can see here, I'm collecting information like their city that they've selected, that they're interested in, that's where they are. I'm collecting email, I'm collecting mobile number, I'm collecting the session date and the session timing. Okay, everything that ClickFunnels can do, I can actually do here. Okay, so the next thing is growth tools. Growth tools are basically the sequences that I built. Like for instance, the way for me to distribute the digital ticket, or even the full registration automation is built here. And this is a drag and drop user experience that I can build my sequence with. Okay, this is a JSON growth. It's as simple as that. Meaning the moment someone clicks on a Facebook app, they will be experiencing this. The first message they get is very simple. All they need to do is click on one button and they get subscribe and then capture the data. Very simple. Okay, so this is how it looks like. And this is the digital ticket that allows them to download. Plus, at the same time, I can register them if you want to bring a friend. I can remind them the bonuses that they can get. Okay, because usually the landing page has everything. But the moment you finish the landing page, it disappears. Nobody remembers. But if it exists in a messaging platform trail, it's always there. Right? So that's why it's powerful. And this is a multi-city sequence that I built. And this is a single city sequence that I built. Multi-city. That's why I say it's advanced, so don't worry too much about it. Okay, I'm done, so let's have some Q&A.
Mike is coming.
You got a question? Here's the question.
The lady over here.
I notice you use IMN all the way through the words, which are banned by Facebook.
I am at?
Yeah.
No.
I saw it in your messenger. You had, So I just thought,
No, IMF, the word IMF, it's not that. Is it?
the pictures, it showed it.
My picture says that it's back.
No, I thought it was banned in Facebook, so how is it allowed in Messenger?
Oh, it's the list is not back. Which one?
There, or both of them?
Is it? Facebook doesn't know who MOBE is. They don't care. But they have an algorithm that tracks questionable terms, questionable phrases, questionable words. Like make money quick, get rich quick, network marketing, things like that. MOBE is not one of them. I am freedom workshop is not one.
Sorry.
That's cheap.
You're talking about the chatbot. How do you connect from the Facebook ads to that chat box as an opt-in page?
Based on
How do you do it to connect from Facebook ads to
Okay.
the chatbot?
where, if you remember when you create a campaign, first thing you need to do is the campaign. Select the objective of the campaign. When you select messages as the objective, the second stage is the same ad set. Okay, ad set is the same, nothing different. But the next final step is when you create your creative. At the bottom of that, that's where it says you can select the messaging platform. There are two. One is the built-in messenger, and then the other one is a third party. It's called JSON, JSON. Let me see if I can show you. This one. Okay, so from here, once I build this up, there's one of the steps that allows me to, it will give me just a few lines of code, they call it script. So I copy the whole thing, I go back to creative, add, or rather add set while I'm creating my ads. At the bottom, there's a space, I just delete everything that's existing in that, I paste this set of code, script in, it will work. It's a script. It's a script. So one of the processes, it's not shown here because this is already built. But when I go into the edit state, there's one that's called I can't remember. I think it's called setup. Under setup, they will give me a set of code. I just copy and paste. But you have to finish creating this.
When you do a multi-city mini chat or messenger sequence, what difference does that make to the ad that you're running? So do you run a multiple city ad,
All
like
ads
a
are
generic ad?
all ads are city specific. You have to be city specific because you need to enter the location, and then you have the radius, of coverage. So it's got to be city specific.
So what's the reason for using the multiple city
Oh, very
messenger
simple.
sequence rather than
Because I don't want to build. Do you know how many events we have now? Right.
so it's the
The amount
efficiency.
of funnels I need to build. It's crazy. So now I build one funnel. I put all the information of multiple cities in there. I only maintain one funnel. Let me show you what. Let me show you. Can you see this? Multiple cities. I built it. But it's the same thing. You see? I'll show you. I give you a trick. I think it's $1 million trick. It's not really the secret. Okay, here. Let's just use this. No, this one. Actually, this is a long page. So the information about that that the city specific information is down here. This is what I built. So this specific, I'm only promoting one specific timing, one specific location. So if it is Singapore, or if it is a city that uses one hotel, is simple. Just put everything in here. The problem arises when you have 4 days, and you have 4 locations. So what you do is you just list all of them. And this is specific to one city. Okay. If you refer to what I just did, all you need to do is remove this section out, put it down here as a full section. Right? Bangkok, Singapore. And in this case, I don't even bother to put on the location because you know why? Once they click here, it goes into my chatbot, and my chatbot will give them all the information. Right? So it's up to you how much information you want to give. You can, of course, list everything down here. Then it becomes a very long page. Next question.
When you're creating the ad, the Facebook ad, you know how after you do the ad set and you're doing the ad copy and all that, it asks you for the destination URL. You know, how would you normally put just an URL of my landing page?
Okay.
How can you send it to your chat box? Does it link up?
No, you can. Step back to the very beginning is also something that Andrew has already covered. It's very important as part of the system building. I only covered the 3 things, right? Even before that, one step before that, you need to make sure that you have a domain name, a custom domain name. It can be a business name, it can be a workwithyourname.com. Use my.com only to find anything else, okay? You need to have a domain name because the very reason why is Facebook needs to look at you or the link that you put there as a legit business. The moment you just click funnel is fishy to them. There's one period when I keep hearing that Facebook is clamping down the use of lead pages or click funnels, but I haven't seen that happening. I just heard about it. The reason why is because they prefer you to be a legit business. That's the reason why this landing page, why a lot of these landing pages are not approved is because at the bottom, you need to have income disclosure, terms and conditions of that sort. Okay, privacy policy. All legit business will have all these 3. So one of the reasons why, if you don't know why they suspend or they don't approve your app is because of missing these 3 items. You gotta have that support as well. Support is just basically email support to move. Okay, so there are certain things I need to do. Domain name, the footer pages, and once you have a domain name, you got the way I do it is that I buy hosting, shared hosting. The shared hosting I will install WordPress. Within WordPress, this is technical. You need someone to guide you. Otherwise, just absorb. Okay, osmosis. So what I do is WordPress. Within WordPress, I install 2 plugins. One plugin is ClickFunnels so that I can talk directly to ClickFunnels. Every funnels that I build has different steps, and every step has a different URL, and it's usually your subdomain .clickfunnels.com and / whatever, right? So it's a little bit cryptic. I don't use that. What I do is that I install another plugin called Predict Lite within WordPress. From there, they work together. I only select the steps that I need, and I customize using my own domain, like mydomain.com. facebook.com/IMFCD. IMFCD. So it's the same thing within the WordPress backend. You select the pretty link. Within pretty link, it allows you to create any custom domain that you like. So if you remember what I said, ManyChat will give me a link. When I build a landing page, which is basically my registration bot is all about, it's just a landing page but built using ManyChat, it gives me a link. Again, it's a cryptic link. I use the link and put it into pretty link. I create a custom link with my own domain. Oops. With my own domain. And then I have a beautiful domain.
So you're still putting in
My
a
domain.
link name in the app, but
Yes.
the link name is connected to your
Yes.
chatbot. Okay.
That I don't know whether I can say fools Facebook into accepting you that you're a legit business or not. But that was
Because I do the same thing. I use Predict and WordPress to
Yeah.
like mydomain.com / wherever. But I just was confused how you connect the chatbot.
ManyChat, right? They will give you a link. Every sequence you build, just use Pretty. Any more questions before I hand back to Debs?
What would you say was your most successful way of getting to the level that you're at within 10 months? And was it that you're different?
Everybody is
Well, you are, but
Everybody is different. That's I don't know. I don't have an answer for that. I failed a lot of times. Believe me, I failed. I've even come to a point where I have no money to advertise. I come to a point where in my first 6 months, my growth was like that. After that, for the first 4 months, I basically just don't have money to advertise. So what I do, I take the time to learn is I build another ad agency business during this time. Okay, so you do whatever you need to move yourself up to the next level. And I have no specific answers for you. Just maybe my DNA makeup, maybe my background skill set. I don't know. Every one of us is different. I cannot tell you an answer that you can replicate. It's probably not going to work. And that's why, if you remember, self-awareness is so important. You have to understand your SWOT analysis, your strength, weakness, threat, opportunity. Know what you're good at. When you have downtime, do something different so that it builds your business too. But it may not be the same thing.
So do you use the percentage of 6 to 1 for your advertising?
What is the 6 to 1?
In other words, they say that if you give it 100,000, you put in 60,000 to the amount of money that you spend on marketing on the advertising.
No, I don't have 100,000.
No.
I probably would spend about 500 to 1,000 for a campaign for every city. It's not always the same thing. I also have to manage in the sense that I have to monitor how well it works. A lot of time it doesn't work too well, then I have to shut it down. I have successful campaigns that basically makes every failure that I make worthwhile. And most of the campaigns suck. Maybe not a lot of people tell you that. Most of the Facebook campaigns sucks, doesn't work. That means I don't get enough registration and my cost is high. But I only need one market that work. You will make it work. And we can't tell, Like for instance, if I'm spending $20 per lead for one specific city, it will be different for every other cities. And then another consultant would have different results for that city. So very difficult to sometimes when I double down on the city and it totally forms for me, and it just, why did I do that? You know? So because there's an advice to say, when you only have so much money, just bank it on one location, one city, because you need to build that number. It's all about numbers game. But when you have a lot of registration comes in, chances are percentage of people who will move to the next step is there. But I did that, it didn't work. So I would prefer to make sure that I have campaigns every week for every city, at least one, so that I have a higher chance of making sure that people flows through the channel into FPS and bring it. To me, that's my new strategy. I don't bank on money because I spent close to 6,000 in Singapore last year. At that time, I didn't do anything, so I just bang on Singapore and zero. It didn't work. And then Toronto. Toronto, what happens is that I did a few cities, and I remember to give reminders to every other cities except Toronto. And Toronto is the only one that gives me two upgrades. Everything else is zero. You know, there's an element of luck there.
Do you do anything that's actually free for yourself? Like you're only actually doing ManyChat with Facebook advertising,
Yeah.
your own link, or are you actually plugging in through blogs, or are you plugging in from other things to
I
go
don't
into
have
that?
I understand your question. I don't have a blog yet, but I'm moving towards that. I'm spending a lot more time creating Facebook groups because that works better than email marketing. Because instead of putting them in an email, and you might then like my group, and group is the platform where I give value. Remember, that's the platform I give value. I give free training and free advice. I just give. I'm not asking for anything. So that's the platform. So use group. Thank you. So any other questions?
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Peter Chow! Yes. One more time, Mr. Peter Chow, come on now! Thank you so much.